Okay, so let me clean this off. So I'm going to very quickly take you through how to do the calculator button pushing to, whoops, that's not what I wanted, to put, do a regression in your calculator and how to get everything in the Y1 line and how to do slope in your calculator. So first things first, if you had anything your Y equals, clear it out. We're going to do stats and make sure your plots are turned on. So in the Y equals area. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go stat to put in our data, put in our stuff. Go edit. Okay, now we're in. So you can go ahead and enter your X's in L1, your Y's in L2. If you had to clear out your data, so how you do that is you arrow up to the L1, do not press delete, press clear, and then hit enter, and all the data will go away and you can go ahead and type in your stuff. So go ahead, pause the video, enter in your data. Okay, now that we're in, what we're going to do is we want to now see what kind of regression we should do. So I'm going to press zoom, and I'm going to go and change my window to do a zoom stat. This will make the calculator window fit exactly my data points that I've entered in. So now that I'm here, you can see that to me this kind of looks quadratic, like it might end up coming back down. So I'm going to do a quadratic regression. So to do regressions, we go back to our stats. We're going to have it calculate, so arrow over to calculate, and I'm going to look for quadratic regression, item 5. So you can either press 5 or you can just arrow down and hit enter. Now if you have the new operating system, this is what your screen looks like. Notice it's saying the X values are in L1, the Y values are in L2, that's the default, and for storing a regression equation. Now even if you don't have this version of the operating system, still pay attention because you're going to do the same button pushes to get your Y variables. So we're going to press vars, arrow over to yvars, function, it's a Y variable, it's a function. Now you choose which line you want the calculator to put in. I'm going to put in the first one. And now we're going to press calculate. And you can see it has done our equation. It has gone and stored it in our Y1 line. And if you press graph, you can see it looks like it's a pretty good fit. Now, if you have the other version of the graphing calculator, when you did your quadratic regression, you saw just quad reg show up. So for you, you don't even have to worry about the L1, L2 because it's the default. So all you have to type in is quad reg and then do your vars to get vars Y1 there. And then when you hit enter, it'll do the exact same thing and it will put your equation in that Y1 line just like the other. Okay, so there we go. We now have our equation in, we've done our regression. So now the question is, now comes the thing that a lot of you are requesting is how did I do this slope in the calculator? How do I have it calculate y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 in the calculator without having to type all this stuff in by hand? So the formula we're going to kind of use here is just saying, instead of saying y2 minus y1, let's say where these things are actually coming from. I want and the first thing we have to remember is in all of our problems, this method only kind of works when you're repeating the same value over and over. So most of the stuff we're doing, we're asking for the slope between an interval. So maybe 1997 to 1998. And then we want to know the slope from 1997 to 1999, and so on and so forth. So notice the 97 is consistent. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we want the Y value from 1997 minus the Y value of X. So just whatever the second value should be. And then down here we want the X value, which is 1997 minus X. That's what we're going to type in the calculator in Y2. So Y variables, again, just come from vars. So go vars, Y vars. Now, I didn't show you this in class, but you can actually use function notation. So I can type in 1997, and that's going to return the value of y1, where if we were to substitute in 1997, minus, now I want y1 evaluated at x. If I don't put anything there, that is the calculator's default. That is automatically just going to say whatever the x value is, that's the y value it's going to put for there. So then divided by, don't forget all these parentheses, 1997 minus our x value. So now if I go to my table and you have your calculator set up like default, you're just going to get a list of values starting with x being 1. That's not very helpful. So go over here, change your independent variable to ask, So, and how I got here, I apologize. How I got here is, notice here it's in the table set. So I'm going to second window, brings up here, arrow down to ask, hit enter. Now, when I look at my table, well, yours will come up blank. Now I can type in any value I want. So if I want to see the values from 1998, notice the Y1, that is just the regression equation. It's the prediction. It's saying, the equation saying it's 723.57. We can see that's pretty close to what the actual data was. But our Y2 is the slope. So the slope between 1997 and 1998. So now if I do 1999, there we go. Now I've got the value for 1999, 775, 774, close, and the slope between those years. Okay, I hope that gets you through the button pushing.